The movie starts with, it's one of the most haunting lines in cinema. Are we shooting? Are we still shooting people or what? Can you tell us about that, writing that opening?
Well, the war is really a post-war movie, right? Because you don't really understand a war till it's over, right? And when it's over, you can say, wait, what was that? What did that mean? Violently, what did that mean? I met a veteran yesterday from Iraq who's in his 30s who came back and had some PTSD and went to his local VF services, Veterans Affairs Service, and said, can you help me? And they said, if you come back in a year, we can maybe get you a therapist. Now think about all many people that are like that walking around. What could he have done in that year? What could have happened to him in that year? Now fortunately, he found a benefactor who got him to go really become a therapist. And then the benefactor said, now you go do that for 5 other veterans. That's the only way I want you to repay me. Why are we not doing that? You see, that's, I mean, that. Because you create the trauma, and then we should invest in a peace economy. This guy's a beautiful guy I met yesterday who runs a facility that can help people I know with mental health, and and so you can reuse trauma, as Roger has talked about himself publicly. You can put trauma into art or into work, but to me it's criminal that he couldn't get help. I have no idea how we ended up in this answer, but you're going to help me get back to where we were. But that was important for me to say. That's a part. I don't know. How do we end up in this answer? Are we still shooting? Are we shooting? So war is bizarre. War is weird. Your kids grow up, and you have to tell them a succession of weird things about the world, right? They live in a magic world. And you have to tell them, well, there's this weird thing. There's a lot of weird things. And pretty much all of them are bad, right? And so you have to tell them these bad things, and you can see the disappointment on their faces. And the fact that war exists makes no sense to children. Makes no sense. So war is just weird. So this movie takes place in the aftermath of the war, when there was a very strange period. People didn't know if the war was still happening. Many of the Special Forces guys who were our advisors wept because they did not understand why they were not getting rid of Saddam Hussein. They thought, why are we here? As George Clooney said, why did we come? What did we do here? So it was confusing to them. They didn't understand why they were watching Saddam Hussein crush his people. And it turns out the answer is so complicated. Maybe you should have left Saddam Hussein there. It's a terrible, weird world. Because when you open it up, as Colin Powell said, when will it end? What am I talking about again?
Were we shooting? We actually, David.
Okay. So the point is, they didn't know if they were supposed to be killing people or not killing people. They did not know. Now that's a weird thing to wonder. It's like game on, kill people. Game off, don't kill people. That's just, it's sick, right? So, and it's sick. It's sick. It's sick. And it's sick. And it's sick. And it's sick to train people to do that, and then they don't know how to come home. Like this man I met, they don't know how do you come home and be a person after that? Kill people, don't kill people. Shut off your feelings, turn off your feelings. So these guys were walking through this landscape that was a surreal landscape. It was big. We went to a lake bed in Mexico to shoot this that went on for like 20 miles. So you had that existential landscape. And they're walking through this landscape, and they don't know what they're supposed to do. Are they supposed to shoot these people or take them as prisoners? And some of them want to kill people because they didn't get a chance to kill people. It's like deer hunting or something. I want to kill somebody. I want to have a story. And so that moment is weird and funny, and then it immediately becomes nauseating and disturbing. And another guy is saying, take my picture, right? Which has just become an issue in the press with the recent Navy SEAL, because there's a code of honor in the military that says, don't become more barbaric. You guys are the best killers in the world, but you're not barbaric, the Navy SEALs. You don't pose for pictures with your trophies. That crosses a line of barbarism that what happens when you cross that line? I don't want to know, you know? And that man who does that with the picture is Jim Gaffigan, the comic. I don't know if you know who Jim Gaffigan is. He's the only non-cursing great comic right now, one of them. And he was a friend of mine, and he says, take my picture. So that I just like Mark entering the frame that way, and I repeated it in The Fighter. And I don't know who saw The Fighter, but it's a point of view of a location, and you hear the sound before you used to see anybody over black. You hear the sound, then you come on to the moving point of view, and then the lower right-hand corner, in The Fighter, it's the sound of a rake on a road, because they're road pavers, him and Christian Bale. And then he enters the lower right frame, and he's raking the road, and then Christian's fists enter the frame and start wanting to play with him, and you have the story of these two brothers. So that, I don't know, it's interesting how someone enters a frame, and what are they feeling when they enter the frame. He has a picture of his newborn baby on his helmet, which we did in shocking yellow, because Catherine Hardwick, a brilliant production designer who became a director, who directed 13, and she also directed one of the Twilight movies, and she's a brilliant person. And so we wanted everything that would be saturated, and that's what's on his helmet. So there's new life on his helmet, and over here he's about to kill somebody. So, and then he has that conversation with the great Moroccan actor Saïd Taghmaoui, who was in a French film called La Haine. He won the best actor for La Haine, and he's the one who interrogates Mark. And that's, I think, one of the best scenes in the picture. Two people talking about what they've just gone through, you know, and where do you find the humanity in that?